if you want to be the greatest designer or the best designer among others, the one thing you need to master is using contrast in your designs. Now, in the design world, I think that contrast is the king. So if you think that your designs don't look very elegant, or though they don't pop, they don't show the pop effect, or the others don't say, wow, this is great design, I love it. This is because you haven't used the contrast properly. Now, I'm going to show you some of the ways you can achieve contrast in your design. Now, how you can achieve contrast. So there are many different types of contrast. Like, for example, if you have a very big thing in your design and a very small thing, similar thing, so they are going to have a lot of contrast of size. Similarly, one thing is very bright, very sharp, and one is dull. So this is the contrast of color. Then the shape contrast could be everything is squarish and suddenly a button is rounded pill button. So this is the contrast of shape. Also, you can use the contrast of positioning. So if something is elevated and it has a lot of shadow, it is in the foreground, and something is in the background. So it is also the contrast of position. Similarly, you can use position, and you can use change the position of one element with respect to the other one to create some movement, to create some contrast. So if you want to avoid similarities, for example, you are listing 4 icons or 4 sections, and they are aligned with the top of their with the top alignment. So everything is aligned. Suddenly you move one of them or two of them like 10 pixels above the other two. So now you are creating some contrast and interest in your design. Similarly, you can use white space. You can use a lot of white space somewhere, and in some portions of your design you can use less. So whenever you use a lot of white space around something, it is going to create a lot of contrast. So here is an example of contrast with colors. You can see over here we have the middle winner circle, which is white and black. They have a lot of contrast between them because they are totally two separate sides of the colors. Similarly, on the right side, you can see red and blue. They have a lot of contrast. But on the other hand, on the left side, we are using contrast. It is not too much, but we are using some darker shade of blue and one lighter shade of blue. So there are many ways you can use contrast with using colors. Here is contrast with size. You can see over here, all these circles, they are same color, but the size is different. So if I try to I'm using some text heading, or I'm using a text paragraph, then I can alter their sizes a lot to create some contrast between the heading and the paragraph. Now let's see some examples to illustrate this concept of contrast and see it in actual designs, so you can have some more understanding of this contrast concept.